YouTube. It is me, Michaela, aka Michaela Bookworm, and yeah, I bring to you today a very intimidating summer TBR list. Now, I was supposed to post this last week or even maybe earlier, I can't remember, because last week was my first full week of summer break, but I had technical difficulties and now I need to remake it, and I waited to the last possible moment, which is the end of my second week of summer. And so some that were on the last video won't be in this video because I finished them, but I will mention them. And now the two books I did finish last week that were on my TBR list are A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I love, and if I do have time later this summer, I will be reading Court of Mist and Fury because I cannot wait. I fell in love in the first 10 pages. I fell in love in the first 10 pages of the story. And Me Before You, which I actually started during the school year but didn't finish. I only got to chapter 4, I would say, during the last week of school. So I finished that, and I still have to see the movie. I know I'm gonna cry because I cried reading the book. And I might do a comparison video between the book and the movie, and differences and likenesses and how close it was and which one was better, or if they're equal, and blah 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 blah. Now on to the books I've yet not read. The first books I will be showing you are ones that I got from my school library, so they're kind of the ones I have to get through first during this summer break. And so the first two of those I feel really ashamed of. It's taken me to my summer before senior year to finish. I started the original or first series of this franchise back in grade school, but then when the first book of this series came out during, I would say, my 6th or 7th grade year, I was so against it. I'm not reading that. That does not have my precious little Percy baby. Hint, 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 what book I'm talking about. I don't want to read it. I don't want to betray my favorite characters. And then last summer I finally read the first one because I finally convinced myself, you know what, these books sound great, and so I read it, and I love the new characters, and I love that Percy and Annabeth are still in it. I mean, I hate that Grover's not in it, but I love how all these new characters interact with old characters. And so the two books that I need to finish this summer, and I've already actually started reading one of them, are the House of Hades and Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I always mess up his name. I already started House of Hades last night, actually, and it's great and amazing, but I'm already really sad because Percy and Annabeth, guys. But I'm really excited to be reading these and finally finishing the series so I can start Trials of Apollo, Magnus Chase, and all of that fun stuff. Next book I'm going to be showing you is, I read the first book last year for Battle of the Books, and I didn't know they had the second and third one in the school. I just couldn't get to them with all the other books I needed to read for school and just personal time and trying to finish all these other series. But I have them now, and I plan on finishing this beautiful trilogy. I mean, if you like sci-fi, if you like historical fiction, if you like romance, if you like all of this, it's all that mushed together times 5, and it's great and it's beautifully written. The first one is The Madman's Daughter, and the other two are Her Dark Curiosity and A Cold Legacy. I'm pretty sure this one, Her Dark Curiosity, is the sequel, and A Cold Legacy is the final part of this trilogy, and I'm so excited to read it because it's amazing and I cannot wait to finish this. But I just really need to finish Percy Jackson's first because I have been putting that off since 6th grade. The next book I will be showing you guys, and my books all fell over, that's why I made the weird face earlier. But anywho, the next book I will be showing you is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I'm pretty sure that is because I feel like I watched a retelling video and they had this in here, and that's what made me want to buy it. But also the cover is really pretty, so I'm gonna say it's a retelling. I'm pretty sure it's Beauty and the Beast, and it looks amazing and pretty and dark, and I like all of those. It's Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge, and this will be the next book on my list. The last two books I have to get out of the way first because they're part of my library books from school, and I'd be totally ashamed of myself if I didn't finish them and had to return them, is the Throne of Glass series. Now, I have the first two here, and I'm kind of planning on reading this towards the end of the year because the school has all of the books, and I want to read them before I buy them, even though I know they're going to be amazing. So unless I read these and I figure it out, I cannot live until the beginning of the school year to finish the series. I will buy them and maybe take them onto my already, large TBR list. If not, I will be finishing the series during the school year, but I'm still excited to first read the first two. I've only heard great things about this series, and so I think this would be great. And if you don't know who it's by, it's Sarah J. Maas. The next books I have to read this summer are also from my school, but I own them now, and I'm required to read these. I'm kind of happy to read one of them because I saw an episode of a show I love and I've always wanted to read it since then. These books are How to Read Literature Like a Professor, Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried, and the third book, which I'm actually excited to read, is Slaughterhouse-5 by Kurt Vonnegut. The next book I'm going to show you is a very quick read. Probably many, if not all of you, have read it, and I feel bad that I have not read it yet because I've had it for like 2 years, maybe a year, and I just have always put it off because what I do with standalone books, I put them off to like the last possible moment. And so the book I'm talking about is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. The next two books I'm going to read, and I'm going to add a third one onto this because these are such quick reads. I can finish them in a day, and the last book in the series I'm going to show you looks like a very short book out of all of these 4 books already, so I'm going to squeeze it on my list even though I shouldn't. But the books I do own are Happily Ever After by Kiara Cass, and I'm also going to be putting The Crown on my TBR list. I've yet to own it, but if I do buy it before summer ends, I really want to read it because it is, like I said, a quick read. And then my next book is The Siren by Kiara Cass, which I've had for like months, but I've not yet read because, like I said, if it's like a standalone book or like first book in a series, I always put those books off to get series finished or trilogies finished or for TV shows because I'm an awful person. The next 2 books on this TBR list, and it's really sad because I still have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 more books on this list, and I can just see everyone on the other side of this camera being like, you're not gonna make this list, honey. But I'm gonna try. Okay, the first one is Half Bad by Sally Green, and the next one I've been dying to read. I kind of read some of it earlier in the year before I bought it at a half-price bookstore, but I have said I'm going to put off the rest until the summer, and so it is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I really hope I pronounced that name right. The next book that I'm going to be showing you, it is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, and I literally only bought this book for the cover because I thought it looked so pretty. I'm like, oh, it's about witches and has a pretty cover. Fantasy witches pretty cover. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. This trilogy I'm about to show you, I've already read the first one, I just have to read the last 2, and they're both particularly small books. I'd say around 300 pages, maybe, and I could probably finish them in a week and be able to read like Fangirl and The Siren in that same week. So this trilogy I'm talking about is the 100 trilogy, which is on the CW and just ended their 3rd season, and I need to read Days 21 and Homecoming still. If you really love the TV series and you really love all the characters, I kind of recommend the book series. It's so far completely different. Like, names change. There's people in the book that aren't in the TV show, and there's people in the TV show that aren't in the book. And some people's characteristics have changed, some are aged differently, but overall, it still has the same concept, and it's still a really good book, and I still say, you know, you should put it on your TBR list as well. I'm almost finished. There's 3 more books after I show this one, and then I'm done with my TBR list as I cry in a corner and realize how many books I need to read per week. I mean, I'm not complaining, but that's just a lot of pressure. The next book I've already read to like over 100 pages, and I'm excited to read this, and my mom and I are actually going to start the TV show soon because I got her hooked on it by just like telling her how excited I am about reading this, and it is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I should know how to say that. I hear YouTubers talk about it enough, and I'm excited to read about this because one of my favorite booktubers who inspired me to make this channel loves it, and I just like felt like, okay, if she's so enthusiastic about this book, I gotta give it a try. And so I like looked it up, and I'm like, this sounds amazing. It has time travel, historical fiction, it has romance, and it has all this great stuff, and I'm just like, yes, please, I must read this. So I'm going to read it and start the TV show, and I think I'm going to make a very smart choice with this book, but it's going to be one of my longer books for this summer. So the next book is a similar situation as to Percy Jackson, where I put off this like spin-off connection series, whatever you want to call it, because of like I love these characters more, and I don't want to like cross any boundaries. But then I realized this series is amazing and it has amazing characters, and my friend ships me with one of them, and so kind of makes me feel like the best person in the world. And this trilogy is The Infernal Devices, and I'll be reading the first one, and if I have time, which I doubt, sadly. I really want to finish this, which I'm going to have to put off till school starts. But just to brag a little, the person my friend ships me with is Will Herondale, so I kind of feel special and like I need to read about my Will, because if like she ships me with him, gotta know why. Hey, and the last book, yes, the last book on my intimidating summer TBR list is The Raven Boys by Maggie, I'm gonna butcher this name like I did with her other books, Stafitar, that name. I loved her Shiver trilogy. I'm like, you know what, can't be awful, it's gonna be probably great, so I'm gonna give it a try. And again, it's a smaller book, you know, like barely 400 pages, so I think I can probably squeeze it into my summer TBR list. And that is it. That is all the books I'm going to try to shove onto myself and read this summer, because I'm an idiot who puts too many books on her TBR list. Now, anywho, what are you going to read this summer for your TBR list, or what books do you want to buy this summer? If you have any idea of either of those questions, you can ask them down below in the comments. You can subscribe if you want to hear more about books and ranting and reviews and all these fun stuff that I have planned. And if you don't like it, well, why are you still watching this? You just wasted so many minutes of your lives berating me. So, yeah, have a wonderful summer or winter depending on where you live in the world.